Well, hello and welcome again to another Association of PEMF Professionals Thursday Live. I'm Dr. Jerry Dreessen, your host today, as with all Thursday Lives, and I want to welcome you again. And today, we're going to dive a little deeper into the human cells and talk about some pretty cool stuff as far as acute, chronic things that are going on inside the mitochondria, which is the metabolic reset, and how PEMF influences inflammation, insulin, and energy production. Apologize for that slight mix-up of last week's slide, but here we go. I actually had an opportunity to be part of a symposium that they had on mitochondria, and it was the first annual symposium on mitochondrial health, as far as health span and aging. And it was like the first time that I was ever in a place where I felt I was with my people because, oh my gosh, there was 2 days of experts talking about the mitochondria and how this little piece of content that's in every cell. I mean, there's thousands of these things in a cell, and how they work and what they do and what happens to our bodies if they're not working right. And guess what? PEMF is one of the things that helps keep this little sucker charged. So let's jump into it and get started on this. Let me change my screen here, and I'm going to go down to the side. There we go. Okay, so the session today is basically exploring how PEMF supports the body's ability to regulate inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and enhance cellular energy production. Another thing that I just finished out on was insulin problems and how people that are on certain diets or they have the insulin resistance going on, and how, in essence, people who have type 2 diabetes where their pancreas has been overwhelmed from eating too much, the body usually will take fat and energy and stuff and use it. But if there's too much and there's not enough insulin to attack it, it'll store that into fat cells. And then it continues to do that because you're low in insulin. And now you're low in insulin. So no matter what you eat, it goes to fat. And the insulin cannot push it in so that it feeds your brain. And when your brain is without sugar or without glucose, it starves it out and then it gets hungry. So now your brain is saying, I need glucose. So your body eats glucose. The body gets it and says, I don't have any insulin to do anything with this. So it stores it to fat. And so now you've got brain fog and you're hungry, and the cycle continues. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, what happens there. So using PEMF to break that cycle is really good too. But it's basically the metabolic triangle and how PEMF acts at the cellular level with practical applications in practice. We'll talk about that. Some integrative synergy, and also professional guardrails and compliance. Because again, as with anything, if you think about it, there really isn't anything on the market that says we cure blank. Because you can't make that claim unless you can prove it in a double-blind study that is consistent with all age groups and ranges and etc. I mean, we know that drinking water will cure dehydration. I think we can say that, but can we go any further than that? That's a good question. And a couple of shout outs here. Hey, welcome, Barbara, to our live. Glad to have you with us. And Kimberly, hey, good to have you on board too. Thanks. So basically, let's jump into the metabolic triangle. So you have inflammation, insulin sensitivity, and mitochondrial function. So those are the three things that can be going on. And again, if your body's inflamed, a lot of times things don't happen. Healing doesn't happen. Absorbing nutrients doesn't happen. We all know that inflammation is the, the root of all evil in the body. And I have I have a video that's out there and it says how to live longer. And then you get to the video and it's just me for 10 seconds saying, remove inflammation. That's how you live longer. And as those of you that are learning more and more and more, that you know that that's exactly what's going on. Angie, hi, welcome. Glad to have you on board too. Oh yeah, good question, Barbara. To best assist the metabolic triangle, focus on the gut and the head. Yes, because if your digestive tract is not working properly, then that is often where you got to start. So yeah, doing a gut cleanse is one of the things that we often talk about too in my practice. Because if you can't absorb nutrients, then what's the point of taking them? Again, you are digesting things that are still stuck in your system. We call it reputrefaction. So a lot of times people are sick. It's because their body's just not getting the right, able to absorb the nutrients properly. So hi, Janet. Welcome. Glad to see South Carolina represents. Good. So basically, metabolism is more than calorie burning. It's how every cell turns fuel into energy. So chronic inflammation disrupts insulin signaling. Poor insulin sensitivity starves the mitochondria of fuel, and weak mitochondria further inflame tissue. So PEMF helps restore the balance among all three corners of this triangle. And it could be a right triangle or an isosceles triangle. It's up to you. It's going to be in your brain. So whatever triangle you want to put in there. Equilateral triangle. So a gentle electrical reboot. So PEMF, what's great about this is that it restores the cellular communication and energy flow, but it doesn't overpower the body. So if you can think of it like a system reboot and reestablishing electrical communication, the cells again regain their ability to absorb nutrients, they release waste and generate energy efficiently, which is why we recommend when you use PEMF to have the person drink water before and to drink water afterwards, because there's going to be this waste that's released through the cells. And if you got billions of cells all releasing just one little granule of waste, that's going to be actually a ton. So Leslie, just so you know, yes, we are live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So if you go to those channels, you'll see it live, but then also they will all be left there as a recording so that you can, like here with this Facebook, if somebody's on Facebook, you can send them here, but you can jump over to YouTube and you grab that link and send it to them as well. So let's see what we can do with this triangle. So restoring the cell membrane potential. Again, it rebalances the ion exchange, so the sodium-potassium pump starts working properly. It improves the nutrient uptake and then waste removal, but also revives the cell responsiveness. So we have that active transport system where things go in and out of the cell. And again, inflammation will inhibit those things. It'll inhibit the Krebs cycle as far as the efficiency of that. You start having, your body just starts leaking incorrectly. And so this again recharges the system. It's like hitting the master reboot. So every cell maintains the electrical charge across its membrane, and stress or aging can reduce this charge, slowing metabolism. If you can imagine every other cell functioning, so it can deaden or slow down the signaling. But if you can improve the cell's ability to communicate and function normally, health will begin to return to the body. So energizing the mitochondria with the PEMF, it's through enhanced electron transport, which increases ATP production. And those of you that are new to this, inside the mitochondria, and you can look it up, is the ability to take ADP and then turn it into ATP. And what that means is now there's an energy bond to grab a phosphate into that system, and then as ATP leaves the body, it goes. It's like gasoline. It's like a little can of gasoline, and now it goes and it dumps that gasoline to wherever it's needed for energy. Well, it pops off that phosphatase bond or phosphate bond, turns back into ADP, and then that gets recycled again. So that's the gasoline for the body is through the mitochondria. So if you have mitochondria that aren't functioning right, then again, energy and ability to repair and heal, all of that drops, because when we sleep at night, we have a lot of repairing going on and re-energizing. So people who don't sleep or can't sleep because of all of these things, again, PEMF helps that out. If anybody have used PEMF low grade, I have patients in my clinic that use PEMF, and I come back and check on them, and they're asleep. They're like, that's the best sleep I ever had. And so they come there because it just helps them relax, and which is kind of a cool double treatment system. So again, inside the cells, the PEMF stimulates the mitochondria, which is the batteries of the body. Studies show increased oxygen utilization and ATP output, giving tissues more energy for repair, immune activity, and overall vitality. Supporting circulation and inflammation control. Better oxygen and nutrient delivery. So now your body is able to absorb oxygen and utilize it more. Faster removal of waste products, and also lower cytokine load. So again, your body is not overwhelmed with work because it's more efficient. So now you have improved microcirculation, and the tissues receive more oxygen and nutrients, while the inflammatory waste clears out more quickly. So the result is calmer, more efficient metabolism throughout the body. All your pistons are firing. If you can imagine taking an old car into the shop, getting the rings put in there, getting new oil, getting new valves and spark plugs, so it goes from this kind of wobbly, kicky, smoky engine to just purring like a kitten. That's what you do to the cells, and then that's what the cells can do for the body. Practical applications, again, fatigue and recovery support. So we'll take it to weightlifting events and throw PEMF on, people's backs, biceps, quads, whatever, they're doing, and it refreshes the tissue. And that's often what they say, is they'll say that feels like I just walked in the front door. I haven't even done an event, as far as recovery being that fast. Post-surgical and injury healing. So again, it helps with the decreasing the swelling and inflammation, and speeds up the healing because there's less that has to heal. A lot of it's just getting rid of the product, waste product and stuff like that. That's usually what gets in the way of healing. Veterinary metabolic cases. So those of you that work on animals, you see this all the time. I've seen it happen with work dogs, where they jump up and they're running around like a little puppy again. So, we could take old dogs and turn them into new ones with PEMF. I've seen that, which is really cool. And then also using compliant language. So it supports cellular activity. It supports injury healing. It encourages the body to heal faster. Those are some of the ways that you need to phrase this, versus saying it helps injuries heal faster. You can just say it supports injury healing. So kind of take a look at how you're talking about PEMF and make sure you've got the right phraseology in talking about these things. Consistency over intensity. So short, frequent sessions versus occasional high intensity use. Those of you that have been doing this for a while, you'll know which ones to use. We find that, of course, like in the extremities, the hands and the feet and the knees, you can have it at a pretty high level in the area and they won't feel it. But is that what they need? Are we going into the tissue? Is it a, and yeah, I'll throw Kimberly's up here too. So, what about having stitches after surgery? Should they wait until they're removed before PEMF? I've heard stories where the doctors are like, you healed faster than your stitches. We're ready to be pulled out. We have to pull these out faster, or there's healing around the stitches, so they're harder to pull out. So oftentimes you got to be careful. And what I'll do for example, is if there's stitches on an area, there's redness and swelling, I'll do really low dose PEMF around the area to help with getting that swelling out so there's faster healing, but then also let the person know, or whoever is working on the stitches, that they'll probably need to come in sooner to get the stitches taken out. So as long as you're working with that, I don't see a problem. I mean, why wouldn't you want somebody to heal faster? But just know that if there's healing around a stitch, it's much tougher to pull out. So those are the things you have to be careful of. Again, regular exposure maintains steady cellular charge and circulation benefits. Consistency builds lasting results in both human and veterinary settings. And then also there is integrative synergy. So, again, it works with nutrition and movement. So if you can imagine a cell is now running on all cylinders, purring like a kitten, the inflammation is gone, and your cells are creating this energy, they need to be fueled to create the energy. So if you are giving your body the nutrients that it needs, if your gut is working properly and it's absorbing everything, again, don't rebuild your inner house on Cheetos. You rebuild it on proper nutrition. So, getting the right greens and, all of the nutrients. And then that's when you divide people into their body's working fine and they have a problem, or they're on medication. So those are the, that's that break-in of the groupings of people is, the age, a history of injury, medications, what their job is. Are they able to hydrate? All of those things start to play in as you're working on that. But now that you've got the playing field level here, or a level playing field, there we go. These people are going to start oftentimes detoxing. They might get a headache. They might, get an earache or a jaw ache or something like that, because their body's detoxing, and in the areas you're working on, it's pushing the I don't want to say poisons, but if you can imagine a cell cleaning house, and getting rid of stuff. Like when you go in your bathroom, you're cleaning up, you're getting rid of all of the nooks and crannies and all those pieces. You're wiping them up and you're rinsing them out down the sink. Well, that's what a cell does. And then it like pushes that out in the body, grabs it. It can oftentimes, bring it in through the liver, break it down, and then eliminate it. But if that system is not working properly, then it could be built up of toxins. So it amplifies healthy routines. It helps the body use oxygen, nutrients, and rest more efficiently, combined with other modalities that enhances overall recovery potential. So now they can start to go into recovery mode. They can do physical therapy. They can start walking, all of those things where the body really starts doing what it was intended to do, and do that with less inflammation and pain. So collaboration and tracking, if you're using PEMF on people, if they're seeing a healthcare practitioner, if you can collaborate with them, let them know what's going on. I mean, you can even, worst case scenario, you can be taking notes and then giving that to the person you're working with and saying, take this to your doctor next time you see them so they can see what we're doing, and track that. And then keep that information for yourself too, because you're actually out in the field using this, which is far more than a lot of research people where they're inside a container with people. It's like, I always think of this white room, white gown, and very sterile research product going on, but you're out in the field doing stuff. And in my opinion, what you're doing out in the field far outweighs what's happening on a research side. But on the research side, you can't afford to have things different, because then your research becomes skewed. So collaboration with physicians, veterinarians, and health coaches builds the credibility also, but also for better outcomes. And then encourage clients to track the subtle changes over time. We have that scale, that 0 to 10, as far as how they feel, not necessarily on their body, but then also just the area that you're working on. And Angie, do you personally have a recommendation of a protein drink or supplement For people who are picky eaters and don't get proper nutrients, yeah, that is a tough one. I mean, I have a product I have at the clinic. It's called Greens First, and you get all the nutrients you need. It's just like one scoop. It has all the vegetables and fruits that you need for the day, and get them started on that. It's like, well, I don't like the taste. It's like, well, your body's not going to like you in 20 years if you don't do something about it now. And, it's like, you got to get over it. But I will say this, there are genetic tasters. So I don't know if you ever did that little test where you put that little paper on your tongue and see if you could taste it or not. So there really are people that it really does make them gag when they taste something. So what do you do? Right? They got to get nutrients. They got to get it somehow. So, they can go and, do fish oil or plankton, those kinds of things, krill oil, MCT oil, those kinds of things that they can, if they can't taste it and they can put it in a drink, that's the way you got to do it. Because if they're not eating healthy foods, again, if they're living a McDonald's lifestyle, when they're young, their body, for whatever reason, helps them live longer, live to the age 30 before it starts to break down because of the things that are being trashed. So, and again, getting into a school and teaching kids that, hey, you got to eat this stuff whether you like it or not. I've got friends that are adults that are like, now that I'm, I always knew that when I left home, there was no way I was ever going to eat a salad again. That's because I'm an adult now. I can choose what I want to eat. And those are the people that are breaking down when they're in their 60s, and that's the problem. So, yeah, and again, like with Greens First, there's the one of them and you can eat it or drink it cold. It tastes like a minty apple, but then there's also like a chocolate version. And I've got a guy who hates vegetables, and he buys the chocolate version, and he likes that. So those are some things that you can do. But again, leading the horse to water and getting them to drink, are two different things, right? Communication. So again, we talked a little bit about this. Supports and promotes. Use that in the language. For us, we stay device neutral. If you've got your product and you love it, you're good to go. If they say, are there other devices that are out there? Having a knowledge on what else is out there as far as devices, because there are some that people are like, well, where's my phone? So I bought this product, and all I have to do is plug it into my phone, and then it works. It's like, no, that's not PEMF. So know what real and not real is, because people may ask you, well, I'm going to go out and buy one. What do you suggest I buy? If they can't afford the device that you have, what else is out there? And those are the things. That's the conversation you need to have. But know what else is out there, what works, what isn't real. That will help you out. Again, avoid medical claims. Include a wellness disclaimer. Always, always, always credibility. Your credibility depends on your language. So focus on the physiology, not product branding, and then always clarify that PEMF is for wellness and education, not medical treatment. I can't say anything outside of that, but we all know things that we can't say to the public as far as how awesome PEMF is. So building industry trust. So professional communication protects you in the profession. Each compliant conversation strengthens the reputation of all PEMF practitioners. So you're just part of the group. And ethical education ensures regulators and consumers view our field as trustworthy and evidence-based. And that's why we've got the international AOPP, so that we are all talking with the same voice, and that there aren't any rogue players that are out there that can tear this industry apart. And those, I've seen it happen before in other industries where everybody has great intent, but you get a couple of loud voices or people that get in front of a TV because somebody thought it was really neat to have them and interview them, and they just start throwing stuff out there, and that's everybody's perception of what it is. So that would be something to make sure. And that's why we have our the AOPP. Could a post be made for everyone to comment with their device? So we have a collaborative list to different devices available. And that, Angie, is something we've been working on, because if you go there, you got to be neutral. You can't say, yeah, but your device does blank and I don't like that. That's why I use my device. And so we've attempted that in the past, but that is in our gears that we've been kind of working on. Like, where can we go? And back in the day, it was like, well, let's list all of the devices and all of the things that they do. And so we contacted manufacturers. Hey, can you give us an idea of what your device is all about? And half of them wouldn't return our phone calls. So again, that's the other thing, is getting out to the manufacturers and saying, we want to know more about you. We want to, promote your product. We want to promote PEMF and have you be part of that. Can you tell us more about you? And then we get crickets. So I would love to be able to have that happen. And I would love to be able to do it in a safe environment where everybody gets a chance to talk about stuff. But again, talk with proof, not just, put in things based on what you think it is. So that's the other part of it, is having that conversation with knowledge. Good question, though. And then, of course, ongoing research and exploration. So early data on inflammation and insulin sensitivity. There are companies that are doing that. And you can see some of that when you go to our website. But more and more of that is being done because PEMF is definitely making a breakthrough on this planet. And also expanding animal and human studies. But also those of you, share your observations with us. Send us, I'll send a link down below along with the broadcast, but also on the slides here. But reach out to us. Tell us, hey, I've got this animal or this human that has this problem. I did PEMF for this amount and I got this reaction. I got this great, thing that happened. And so the more of those that we can get in our group, the better too. But again, just know that research is growing. But your case documentation and observations help us as well and shape the future of how PEMF influences metabolism and recovery. I can say what happens in my clinic, but is it just one time, or are there other people like you that are getting it as well? And yes, now you're getting into like the Dave Osprey type of thing, where you've got Barbara, where you've got places where you can go where you have infrared, you have cryotherapy, you have PEMF, you have vibration, you have all of that in a room, and people are going to these newer, what we call health centers, and getting great results too. And again, finding out what's wrong, if there was a way to find out if your mitochondria were performing properly or not, and then see that before and after with these. Those are some of the things that we're looking at doing. But yes, getting your body kicked in gear with cryotherapy. If you've never tried that, I recommend you try it out just to see what it's like. You can fill a tub in the backyard full of ice and water and go do it there too. if you don't want to have quite the drop in temperature, I guess is what I'm saying. So again, anything that you have that's out there that will help us out, we would appreciate that too. So key takeaways today: restore the charge, restore the energy. PEMF helps the body function as it was designed to work. By restoring the body's electrical balance, PEMF supports energy production, reduces inflammation, and improves communication across systems, which is the foundation of metabolic health. And that concludes this talk on metabolic reset. And again, some things to throw out there. Those of you that are watching are come to our PEMFCon. It's our annual Zoom is what we're doing it on this year, but it'll be interactive. There is a host of speakers, and it's November 5th and 6th. 100% virtual for this 2 days focused that deepen your understanding, clarify safety guardrails, and level up your practice. Oh, I need to pop this in here too. So tickets are $200, and AOPP members get a discounted rate. And those of you that are non-members, you can also apply that towards a membership, which is a great way to join. And on our website, at the very bottom of the main page, you'll see in the footer, there's a little PEMF Con 2025. You click on that, it'll take you to a page where you can register today. We've got some speakers already lined up here. Hold on here. My slide just froze on me. Why can't I get my slide? Hold on, everybody. Well, that's really too bad. I don't know. Oh, there it goes. So we've got some speakers showing up here, and these are not quite all of them, but we've got them all set up. We've got a few more that we're still waiting to hear back from. And let's see here. Oh, Kimberly, what if you can't be there at the time it goes on? Will there be a rewatch? There will be a limited time rewatch for those of you that sign up for it. So yeah, we do have that, and I believe it's for 30 days that we're able to hold on to that. So, yeah, if you can't make it on the 5th and 6th, definitely join anyway, so that you can be a part of that and watch what's going on. So again, PEMF Con is coming up. It's, what are we, 3 weeks away from that? So we are looking forward to having you join us. If you have any questions or tips for us from today, what you've seen, info@pemfprofessionals.com. Become a member, of course, pemfprofessionals.com. Be a member. Come to PEMF Con if you're not a member, and apply that towards your membership. And those of you that are watching this, if you want to share it with others after it is done going live, then it'll stay there as a recording, and you can like all of them. That puts us in the algorithms that are shareable for anybody that's looking for PEMF stuff. And there is Instagram, there's LinkedIn, there's YouTube. Angie, you're welcome. Thanks for joining. And Andrea. So as far as the membership, so let me jump back onto that slide real quick. So tickets are $200 for non-AOPP members, and AOPP members receive a discounted rate for $100 for the 2-day event. And like I said, if you're a non-member, you can apply that towards a membership. So like and share us. And again, I'll say goodbye for today, and I look forward to seeing you again next week, where we talk more fun stuff about the AOPP and PEMF and how it can help people, animals, and plants. So, all right, take care. We'll see you next week.